thrilling story of Peyton Place. Starring Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord, Elizabeth Walker as Carolyn Russell, and also starring Barbara Rush as Marsha Russell.
A cold New England day, and Betty Harrington feels the cold cutting into her. Today, Betty rushes to visit her husband, Rodney, once again a patient at Doctor's Hospital. He is unaware of the fact that Betty made a short trip to Boston to confront the attorney for the late Martin Peyton and demand an accounting of the estate, which has been denied Rodney and herself with the disclosure of a new will. Betty, once the principal beneficiary of the vast Peyton fortune, is now the beneficiary of nothing.
Betty?
Oh, Dr. Rossi.
I'll call you again. Betty, listen, you're not going to see Ron, right?
Yes, I am.
Well, don't.
Well,
Don't. It's just that nothing's happened. Everything's all right. I want to talk to you in my office for a minute.
Dr. Miles, telephone on
No,
line
nothing's
2.
going wrong.
Dr. Miles, telephone on line 2.
I'm very anxious to see Rod.
What about?
What about?
Yeah, it's about your trip to Boston, isn't it? You went.
Yes, I told you I was going.
Well, Betty, I don't think you ought to talk to him about that.
Well, I think you better tell me why.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm Rod's doctor, but I'm also his friend and yours, and I have been for a long time. I'm familiar with all the problems, the difficulties you've had in your marriage, particularly those relating to Rod's condition.
I thought you were going to talk about my trip to Boston.
Well, I am in a way, specifically about your marriage. Young people today, they all have it rough getting married, but you two, 2 strikes from the start.
Yes, the accident and...
And Stephen. Accidents, well, accidents, they happen. But Stephen, getting involved with him, no matter for what reason, that doesn't have to happen, and it shouldn't.
You're accusing me of getting involved. You know, Dr. Rossi, Stephen has plagued me ever since our divorce. I can't tell you how many times I've even tried to buy him off, but that doesn't work. Nothing works.
Betty, you're going to have to try and find a way to keep Stephen from Rod. And you're not going to be able to take any more chances with trips to Boston.
No, I went to Boston because I had to. Because Stephen is trying to trick me out of the inheritance. He's trying to cheat us both, and I had to protect our interests.
Betty, you're going to have to try and protect your marriage, too.
Norman's been talking to you.
Yeah, I talked to Norman about it, and I also talked to you about it. The whole point I'm trying to make is just this. You have to try and keep Rod from getting involved in this. Don't mention it. Don't even talk about it.
I don't think I like being told what I can and what I cannot say to my own husband.
Betty, wait. Look, I'm not trying to meddle in your affairs. It's just that I want you to realize that what you say to him now may very well affect his recovery.
Yes, and that's why I intend to tell him the truth. I plan to be as open and as honest as I can. I've tried your way. I've tried keeping things from him, but that doesn't work. That only adds to his suspicions.
You know, I've called on a psychiatrist, Dr. Wilkinson, to come in and examine him.
Yes, you told me you were calling someone.
Well, he wasn't a very cooperative patient. As you might imagine, like a lot of strong-willed people, he insisted he could overcome his paralysis by himself. Dr. Wilkinson was rather discouraged.
How discouraged?
Well, he thinks that Rod is going to continue to be locked in his paralysis until he discovers for himself what he's suffering from.
And what's that?
Well, he uses a lot of complicated terms, complicated, that is, to the layman, psychiatric language. What it all boils down to is this. Rod has extremely serious doubts about his marriage and about you. He won't even admit it to himself.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd. Rod knows how much I love him.
Betty, you can't go in there and talk to him about Stephen and the will and the estate and how much money has gone down the drain without locking him more deeply in his withdrawal from the truth.
Then what is the truth?
Well, the truth is simply this. You love him, sincerely. But he doesn't know that. He isn't convinced of it. So you have to remove Stephen and the will and everything but your love from his mind.
Then you feel by not telling him what's going on, I can convince him I love him. By lying to him. No, Dr. Rossi, we agree. But we disagree on method.
Hello, wife.
How did you know it was me?
I wasn't asleep.
Your eyes were closed. You couldn't see me.
I felt you.
Oh, Rod. I know you. You'd do anything to avoid my cooking.
You mean why I'm back here? No, it's not you. It's the nurses. I had to get close to them. Where have you been? I missed you.
Well, they'd scheduled so many tests and examinations for you that they wouldn't let me anywhere near you.
Yeah, I'm quite a phenomenon.
You know, I came here last night, but they'd given you a sedative.
One of those tests I took was psychiatric.
I know.
That's what it is, you know, the relapse. It's emotional.
Rod.
It's a funny thing, your emotions. Right back where I started from, because I'm scared.
Please.
You know, it helps to talk about it. See, I have this fear of not coming back completely. It's a real fear. I want to be 100% for you physically, Betty. And I'm afraid I won't.
You will. I know you will. Are you sure that's all it is?
Of course. You don't think for a minute that you had anything to do with this, do you? Oh, no. It's me. All me.
I love you.
Hello?
Oh, is that you, Toad?
Yes, it's me.
Hi. I find that I'm going to be in White River tomorrow. Why don't I pick you up after I'm through and take you to dinner?
Oh, I'm sorry. You see, I have these project notes that I have to write up, and I've left them for a week now. I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. I'm glad you're so conscientious. Listen, have you had a chance to think about what we discussed last night?
Well, I have, but not really.
Is your mother there?
Yes, she's in the kitchen. Would you like to talk to her?
Oh, no. I hope you understood. I mean, when I asked you for help, I didn't mean anything specific. I was more or less asking for support.
Dad.
I don't want you to do anything that's distasteful or that you don't agree with.
I don't really think that I can help.
Can't or won't?
Never mind. It isn't any good talking on the telephone.
Am I seeing you next weekend?
Yes.
Good. Ciao.
Bye.
Everything all right?
Well, your timing is just a little off.
Oh, really?
Yes, if you'd walked in the door just 10 seconds sooner, you would have answered the phone.
Well, that was your father just now, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
You didn't want to talk to him? Is that what you mean?
Well, he didn't want to talk to me. He wanted to talk to you.
Well, Carolyn, I think if he wanted to talk to me, he would. I don't understand what you mean.
He's still hung up on you.
Oh?
He is, you know.
Did he say that to you?
It wasn't something he said. It was more a general sense of disappointment.
Has he talked to you about this before?
Before what?
Carolyn, perhaps you have read too many novels of late.
I'm absolutely serious.
Well, then perhaps you misunderstood what your father was saying to you.
Mother, I'm trying to talk to you as a woman. Woman to woman. He is still in love with you. You know that, don't you?
I know he's confused, and I know he's very lonely.
He wants to come back to you.
Then I repeat, Carolyn, how do you know that?
Maybe it's my woman's intuition. Please, you'll just have to take my word for that.
Oh, hi. Oh, I'm so glad you're home. This is great. Well, you're just the person I wanted to see.
Me?
Yeah. Well, look, can I use your phone for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Are you on a coffee break?
No, not really. I had a call close by, and I thought I'd step... Oh, all right.
Hi.
All right.
Well, will you excuse me? I told Pat that I would see her.
No. Wait a minute. I have a proposition for you, young lady.
For me?
Yes, well, you're an antique buff, aren't you?
Well, I like old things.
Nonsense. Your mother tells me you can tell a phony better than the curator of the Boston Colonial Museum. Well, you did. You gave her a great testimonial. I mean, I need someone, too, to see these wonderful things I found in a little shop in Hastings Valley.
I didn't think there are any antique shops down there, are there?
Well, that's exactly why I need an expert. I mean, I can't tell whether they're authentic or not. Besides, some of your New England natives get pretty cagey sometimes.
What are they trying to do? Swap an old wash tub for an appendectomy?
Well, that's exactly what I'm afraid of. I mean, look, I can come by and pick you up, and then we'll go take a look, okay?
Why don't you take Mom? Now, she taught me everything I know. She's far more expert.
No. That's out of the question. She'd take one look at his virgin stock, and I'd lose my shirt. How about it? Can we make it a date?
Well, I have an awful lot of things that I have to do.
11 o'clock.
Well, maybe I can rearrange a few of them.
11 o'clock sharp.
Okay. Pat's waiting. Bye.
Oh, hello, Miss Choate. Miss Choate, I'll be coming in about a half an hour, right? Okay. Well, what's so funny? What's so funny?
You know, you're a very nice man. You are a very dear man. And I think I like you.
Why, because I told Miss Choate I'd be over in a half an hour?
No, because you're making such an effort. She sees through you. I mean, she sees what you're trying to do.
I'm
you
not
know that.
trying to hide anything.
Oh, you're trying so hard to be nice. You're trying so hard to be her friend.
Well, you know what they say, a friend in time is a stitch in need.
But I think it must be very difficult to make all those overtures when she treats them with such suspicion.
Nonsense.